Hey book fans, it's Carrie Woodward from carriesbookcorner.com, and today I'm going to talk to you about some of our activity books for the older kids. So I'm going to start off by saying a lot of these books are great for any age up from like 6 all the way up to 13, 14, sometimes even 15, depending on, the child. So these books will span a great age range, but they are all activity books. All right, so first up we have some different puzzle books. So we have 99 math puzzles. So these are a little bit more elementary. The age on this specific recommendation is 6+, but still very fun. If you're a teacher, would even be fun to add in as kind of your bell ringer. So just kind of fun activities. These are picture puzzles. So just fun little consumable activity books for puzzles and games kind of thing. Next up is the Cut and Color Playbook Seasons. There's a sister book that just came out to it called Cut and Color Playbook Cities. And what the child does for this particular book is they create layered kind of dioramas about the different seasons. So the first off, they start by coloring the outside of the frame, and then they flip the page and it tells them exactly where they are supposed to cut out. And then they color down here and then they cut it out. So they will continue to build page upon page upon page until they have these layered kind of scenes, and they're just beautiful when they're done. So that's a fun one as well. Next up is the 100 paper dragons to fold and fly. This goes along with our 100 paper planes to fold and fly. So you fold it out and it shows you all of the ways that things are going to be folded. And then it's a consumable book. So they rip out the pages with the paper for each page that they want to create. There are lines where they're supposed to fold on each one of the pages so that they end up creating these paper dragons that they can then fly around the place. Next up, for kiddos of all age, basically, are our pattern and coloring books. So our pattern books, we have all kinds of them. They all have this beautiful embossment on the front. And what I like about our pattern books is that you're going to learn a little bit about the culture as well. So every page has details on what it is that you're coloring and why it's significant to that particular culture or why it's significant to that particular time period. So like Art Nouveau, you have the different types of art present during that time period and why it's important. And then we also have a few of our vintage and fashion and old-fashioned to color as well. So they give you a little bit of a head start on some of the pages, but for the most part it's very blank space for you to be able to be creative and show off your coloring side. Next up is A Year in My Life. This is a fun journaling book. So every day there's a different prompt. You can go in order or you can jump around, but there are 365 prompts in the book, and I'll give you some examples. Imagine your fingertips had eyes. Draw a picture of something they might have seen today. Write 3 things you would like to do next year. Draw or write about the most unexpected thing that happened today. So just great, just short prompts for your kid to be able to express their thoughts in a very create diary kind of way. Next up, we have Create Your Own Pizzeria and Create Your Own Boutique. This is a little baby entrepreneur's dream. So what they do in these books is they create the name of their restaurant or boutique, they design the menu or the clothing for their boutique, they price things, they create every component of creating and starting their own little business they get to do. And then at the very back is a portfolio for them to be able to write down and attach all of the information that they did when they were making all of their decisions about their business. So fantastic little mini entrepreneur kits for your kids. Next up is Coding for Beginners Using Scratch. MIT has created a program called Scratch. It's a free website, and this book is a step-by-step guide to doing everything that Scratch has to offer. So they can make buttons and avatars and games and create dialogue on the screen. So every coding aspect that Scratch presents is presented in this book in a step-by-step format for kids. Next up, we have the This Is Not a Science book and This Is Not a Math book. This Is Not a Math book incorporates art and math, and kind of shows kids that math is actually a lot of fun when you incorporate lots of art elements to it. So it's just a fun activity kind of book. I'll read the intro. Follow the step-by-step instructions and make a dazzling array of awesome mathematical patterns and shapes. Watch as pyramids or spirals emerge from number patterns, generate a menagerie of tessellating shapes, discover how to draw a perfect circle, an impossible triangle, and more. There's plenty of space for creating and coloring your mathematical masterpieces and a handy section of blank pages so you can make even more smart art. And then this is the newest one that just came out. This is not a science book, and this one is follow the step-by-step instructions to discover how colors can confuse the brain, learn how to make a rotocopter, create a bone mobile, design your own starry constellation, and much more in this fun, activity-packed book. A host of creative activities supporting scientific learning, helping you to understand the world around you. So you can see that they're going to do all kinds of fun science-type activities in this particular book. So fun, consumable books that kind of incorporate fun elements of learning as well as science and math. Next up is Astronaut Academy. This is also a super fun one. This one takes kids through simulations similar to what the astronauts would do when they are training to become an astronaut. So they're going to go through a series of different activities, and then at the very end they're going to have a sticker to place on every single activity to show that they have completed that particular task. There are stickers, there's a game board at the back, and then at the very back they're also they create their own little kind of spaceship. So this is Astronaut Academy. Next up is Architect Academy. Same premise as Astronaut Academy, where they're going to go through a series of different simulations similar to what they would do if they were going to be an architect. So they're going to learn how to draw floor plans, they're going to talk about climate and how what things to build, what materials to use for building, and then again at the end there's stickers when they've completed those activities, as well as a game board and then a drawbridge that they get to make based on the new architectural knowledge that they have. Going off of Architect Academy, there's a doodling book called Make Buildings. This one, they're going to create all kinds of different shaped buildings and learn about architecture and different shapes that go into creating buildings. As well as at the very end, there is information on some of the some historical buildings and the significance of the architecture within those particular buildings. So this is Make Buildings. And then we have a few writing books. So we have Write and Draw Your Own Comics. So for your child who's into graphic novels, they might try their hand at actually learning how to write graphics and comics. So it gives them a step-by-step how to do, shows them how to create the characters, how to create the kind of the plot line that goes with comics, gives them all kinds of great vocabulary along the sides to try to incorporate it into their book, and it's just a great hardback book on a spiral that they can then keep to showcase their beginning stages of creative comic drawing. And lastly, we have the creative writing book. This one is fantastic. It goes through the step-by-step process of teaching them how to develop different types of characters, the setting, different genres. They're going to talk about poetry and blogging and shock journalism and all kinds of different types of writing as they then get those creative juices flowing and get their thoughts onto paper. So those are my top picks for some of our older kid activity books. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.